Hi, it's Jason from Blue Border Games here with another video for my skirmish miniature game, Luton Legacy. And this is part of the designer's notes of playlist. It gives background on some of the aspects of the game, the thought and processes behind reaching certain rule mechanics, and giving you a general insight into the development process. And today's video is going to be all about dice. So anyone who's played a miniatures war game is going to be familiar with dice, and they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes and denominations. The most common ones are the numerical dice. These are the D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, D20, D100. And that gives a games developer a huge scope just in itself with regards to coming up with stats for fighters and approaches or rule mechanics and lots and lots of different rule variations. So when I started this process, I was obviously naturally drawn towards that sort of dice type. And I began with D6s and looked at then how I could formulate and populate the fighter's character cards. How did I want combat to develop? And the variations were huge just with working with a D6. So it could be that the stat on the card was added to a dice roll to achieve a certain number, or it could be that you needed to roll above a figure on a stat card to result in a success. And again, just with the D6, there's plenty of variation. The thing that I found though, and it's a system that I use when I play lots of games myself, was that it wasn't quite right for the fit for Luton Legacy. As I've said in some of the other videos, Luton Legacy was a game that I wanted to create that was very simple, easy to pick up and very quick to pick up, as well as still maintaining that strategic challenge for levels of any players of any level. So for me, the use of numerical dice, and I started with D6 and did toy with D10, it was just too much for a streamlined game. What we found in play testing was that spending too much time double checking on stats, checking on the end result, were there any modifiers, and the whole process was very sort of too long for the game experience that I was trying to achieve. So I look back on my own game experience of some considerable years to find a system that I found that was instantaneous, was very self-explanatory. What you rolled was what you got. And one of the best examples was perhaps HeroQuest, where the dice they used for combat were ones with three symbols. You either had a skull for a hit, or causing a wound, and then there were two types of shield that would block that wound depending whether you're a monster or a hero. And that struck a chord for me in terms of its simplicity. As I say, what you roll is what you get. I added together with that, I wanted a bit more because gaming has moved on since the first iteration of HeroQuest, and lots of the sort of fan-made stuff for HeroQuest has shown that as well. And I introduced a sort of additional symbol, and that was what we call the mighty blow, and that represented the sort of critical hit element. And I love the idea that despite all the rules and the upgrades and the modifiers, when you roll the dice, there is a chance that it's going to get through no matter what. Nothing can stop it. So for the purpose of Luton Legacy, I developed the add system, which is the attack defense dice system, and it has three symbols on it. It has one mighty blow, that's the sort of critical hit element, nothing can stop. It has three hit symbols, that's where they are a success, and it has two block symbols, so that's cancelling out a hit symbol in, for example, an attack, but can never block out a mighty blow. So what I found was that the only time you needed to look at the fighter's card was to find out how many dice you were needing to roll when you were making an attack. You rolled a dice and immediately you knew whether you were the defender or the attacker, whether that was a success or for either side. And this system worked really well. It made the gameplay really, really quick, and that was true for both the close combat and the ranged attack. So again, with this sort of overarching aim of creating quite a simple and quick game in terms of gameplay as well as picking up, I thought, right, I need to advance that or widen that through the game if possible. And as a result of that, the ad system is used throughout the game for a variety of different roles. So it's not only just used for close combat and ranged attack, but it's also used for the command role, so sort of initiative. So again, players will roll the dice, and if they achieve the greatest number of mighty blows, they know they've won. Same goes for casting spells. Again, you roll the dice, you know whether you've been successful in casting the spell or not. And there are a couple of more sort of specialist rules like withdraw, or when fighting someone that's already engaged, going to avoid your friendly fighter when you do so. So the use of one set of dice, those custom dice, runs through the whole gaming experience, and as you've probably seen from some of the battle reports, or if you haven't, go and check them out. The game flows really quick. So that's in summary why I decided not to go down the numerical dice route and create my own custom dice for the game, because they're simple, they're quick, they're self-explanatory, and I think they just make for a better gaming experience in terms of the overall objectives of Loot Legacy. So I hope you found that interesting and a little bit informative about the background of why I've chosen to use custom dice instead of the sort of more traditional numerical ones. If you did, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and check out the other videos that give you a lot more depth and information on the game. Please follow our Facebook page, because that gives regular updates on development and sort of events and announcements to do with the game. And of course, if you fancy giving the game a go, there is a draft set of rules and all the counters you need to play over on. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. My name is Jason, and this is Blue Border Games.